Hey guys, welcome back to the recap. So this week on Raw, what we had was Drew McIntyre open up the show. He cut a decent promo, wasn't anything too special. He was just talking about what he's gonna do to Randy Orton in their match at SummerSlam. And then right after he cut his promo, you hear this like commotion going on backstage, and the camera cuts to the production truck. The trailer where they control the camera angles and then the commercial breaks and all that other stuff for WWE. And the group Retribution was back there. They were attacking the production teams, and they started tearing up the trailer and messing with all the buttons and all that other stuff. There's only so much they can keep doing each week with destroying stuff, so I just want to learn who these people are. But that's how the show started off. The next thing that happened on Raw this week, apparently Mickie James is back. It's cool to see Mickie James back. I feel like Mickie James is always in and out of wrestling. I don't know why she left this time. I don't know if she was injured or did she have another child. I'm not too sure. I gotta look that up. But she's back, and I've always been a fan of Mickie James. Mickie James is cool. She was having a match with Natalya, against Natalya. And then apparently Natalya is aligned herself with Lana, which I didn't know. So Lana is guiding Natalya or something like that. I'm not too sure what that whole storyline is about. So during that Natalya versus Mickie James match, you couldn't even pay attention to the match because Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy came out, and they came up to Samoa Joe because a lot of people heard that Samoa Joe knows that Rey Mysterio is coming back tonight. And so Seth Rollins was pressing Samoa Joe at the commentary table, and he's like, just tell me how you know that Rey Mysterio is coming back. Who's your source? Samoa Joe's like, I'm not telling you my source. And he's like, you seem pretty shook for somebody who's not scared of Rey Mysterio. And then next thing you know, I guess Mickie James got counted out in the match. I guess either Lana caused a distraction. I'm not too sure because I couldn't see because the camera was really on Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins and their whole conversation. But I know it's Mickie James. Something happened to her on the apron, and then the referee counted 10, and Mickie James got counted out. So Natalya won that match, but it wasn't really much of a match because you couldn't really focus on the match. But yeah, I'm glad that Mickie James is back. It kind of sucks that she loses by count out on her first day back. But that's how it goes sometimes. So you can't always win your return. We had a match between the Golden Role Models, which is Sasha Banks, the Raw Women's Champion, and one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions, with her partner Bayley, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion, and the other half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. And they went off against my two favorite female wrestlers in WWE today, which is Asuka and Shayna Baszler. I am a huge Asuka fan, and I am a huge Shayna Baszler fan. Part of it is probably because I, former martial artist, so I like the wrestlers that have the martial arts background and stuff like that, which Asuka and Shayna Baszler has. Shayna Baszler used to be a UFC competitor. Asuka used to wrestle in Japan, and a lot of the wrestlers in Japan just, they know martial arts. That's the style in Japan, is like strong style, which is technical wrestling is big with them, but also striking is a huge part of the Japanese wrestling style. And striking is pretty much martial arts with the kicks, the knees, the elbows, the punches, palm strikes, chops, all that stuff is pretty much in the martial arts realm. And a lot of Japanese wrestlers study that strong style kind of wrestling. So I'm a big fan of Asuka, Shayna Baszler's. I feel like she's still a heel, but she's like, she's stepping into babyface realm a little bit. But I don't feel like Shayna can. I don't know. I don't feel like Shayna Baszler can ever be like a straight up babyface. She can be like Randy Orton. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad, and stuff like that. Or Edge, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Well, Edge can play a babyface role more. So I would say Randy Orton. I would say Shayna Baszler is like a Randy Orton, someone who could step in the realm of babyface from time to time, but always at heart is a heel, and is going to do like heel tendencies and stuff like that. But yeah, so they got in the ring, and they had a first of all, they started off with a good match, and then for some reason Nia Jax returned because I guess she got suspended a few weeks ago. So Nia Jax returned out of nowhere. She started fighting with Shayna Baszler, and they started fighting all the way to backstage. So then now it's just a 1-on-2 handicap match where Asuka was going against Sasha and Bayley the whole match pretty much, and Asuka was holding her own pretty good. It was a really good match, even though it was like, 2-on-1. And then like towards the end, when Asuka was about to get submitted, Shayna Baszler comes running out and she's asking for the tag, which is surprising. So as the match went on, Asuka had Sasha caught in the what's it called, the Asuka lock on the outside on the floor, and then in the ring, Shayna had Bayley in the rear naked choke, and then Bayley tapped out. So Asuka and Shayna Baszler won the match, which was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that match. So far, that's been the best match of the night. Alright guys, so next up on Raw, this Raw turned out to be pretty good. So Rey Mysterio came out with Dominic, and they cut a really good emotional promo about Rey Mysterio was talking about how he sat at home, how he felt like less of a man, how he had to sit there and just watch as his son was brutalized by Murphy and Seth when they were beating him with the kendo sticks last week. And Dominic was saying that he's gonna defend the family's honor and name at SummerSlam. And Seth Rollins came up on the Titantron with Buddy Murphy. They were in the back, and Seth Rollins cut a good promo talking about how Rey Mysterio was a horrible father, and his son and his family and the name of his family is all going through this because of Rey Mysterio's selfish decisions and all this kind of stuff. And Rey Mysterio was like, well, why don't you come out and prove it with your big words? So Seth Rollins was like, all right, don't move. So Seth Rollins came out with Buddy Murphy, and they came into the ring, and then Rey Mysterio and Dominic got out the ring, and I was like, oh, they're running? That's strange. And then Dominic, because Dominic's hurt from last week from getting hit with the kendo stick, so Dominic was grabbing his midsection, kind of like moving slow. And then Rey Mysterio told Dominic to wait to the side, and Rey Mysterio tried to get back in the ring a little, like twice, but he jumped right back out because they were about to, hit him. And then Rey Mysterio was kind of getting their attention on him. Buddy and Rollins was looking at Rey Mysterio, who was like on the near the ramp, and his son was still over to the side where the commentator table was. And then the camera cuts to Dominic, and then Dominic reaches over the barricade, grabs 2 kendo sticks. Sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong side. 2 kendo sticks. And he slides in the ring, and he starts wailing on the back of Rollins and Murphy, because they stopped paying attention to him, because they thought he was hurt and stuff like that, and they were focused on Rey Mysterio, so they turned their backs. And then Rey Mysterio got into the ring as well, took one of the kendo sticks that his son had, because his son had 2 of them, and they just started going to town on Seth Rollins. And I can only imagine how much that hurts, getting hit with like just bamboo sticks just up against your body, people swinging it as hard as they can. And then Seth Rollins finally got out the ring, and then Buddy Murphy got a few hits as well on him. And then he started running out the ring and jumped over the barricade because he was getting messed up. And that was pretty entertaining. That was a good little segment right there of them getting whooped with a kendo stick. So we come back to Raw Underground. Another match from Raw Underground was Arturo Ruas, I believe his name is. He's a Brazilian black belt in capoeira, and the dancing kind of martial arts where they mix Brazilian dancing with martial arts. And then he went off against Riddick Moss. Riddick Moss used to be from NXT. Both of these guys used to be from NXT. I think Arturo is still in NXT, if I'm not mistaken. But Riddick Moss is like this big jack dude who used to be in the NFL. So they went off against each other. They had this week, I can tell you this week, they made it look more realistic. Like they were throwing hands, they were trying to submit each other, they were like body slamming each other crazy. I think that's what they should do. They should have a martial artist, somebody who's like skilled in martial arts, with or somebody who at least is good with street fighting, versus like somebody who isn't as good. So like the person who does know martial arts kind of complements the person who doesn't, or just 2 martial artists. Because when they have somebody who doesn't know martial arts or any street fighting against another person who is not really like a fighter like that, it kind of looks too fake. So these guys complemented each other really good. They were doing pretty good. They rolled out the ring and stuff like that. Then you know, the crowd of people, they were pushing them to like back to fight each other, but then they turned around and hit the people that were pushing them, and then Shane broke it up. That scene was pretty good. Raw Underground's doing pretty good this week. It looks more realistic, which I kind of mentioned in my last video the other week about I like it. I just need it to look more realistic. So also on Raw Underground, next up we had Shane invited Mia Shavir, Jessamine Dukes, and Shayna Baszler to Raw Underground, and I like all three of them, to be honest with you. Again, because I like the martial arts competitors, and all three of them were in UFC. I believe all three of them plus Ronda Rousey, so all four of them, they were known as the Four Horsewomen. They got that moniker because they were kind of like the trailblazers for the women's division in UFC. Because the women's division it's not like fairly new, but you know, there was no women's division in UFC for quite a while. Yeah, I like all four of them. I haven't gotten to see Jessamine Dukes and Mia Shavir, if I'm saying her name right, fight that much in the UFC. I've only seen Shayna Baszler. I'm gonna have to like watch clips of them in the UFC because I haven't seen them. I've only seen Ronda Rousey clips in matches, and I've only seen Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey wrestling matches within WWE. I haven't seen Jessamine Dukes or Shavir. I think they're during the live shows, like the live events that they go out and do. They wrestled then, but Mia Shavir looks sick in the ring. Like she was doing cartwheels into like kicks to the back and this crazy leg and arm trap triangle submission and stuff like that. And she was holding her own she went against some unknown girl, but she looks pretty good in the ring. And to be honest, I would like to see more of Jessamine Dukes and Mia Shavir in NXT because I don't see them wrestle at all, and I want to see their wrestling style. So Mia Shavir is she looks like she can go. She looks like a really good wrestler, plus real life fighter, and I'm pretty sure Jessamine Dukes as well. But during that, after she won and she choked out that girl, Nia Jax shows up out of nowhere and she sneak attacks Mia Shavir, and then Shane was like, Shayna Baszler got up in the ring and she was like, let's go. So Shane was like, all right, they can fight too. And then the bell rung and then Nia Jax ran out the ring. So Nia Jax just scared of, she keeps attacking Shayna Baszler, but she's scared of Shayna Baszler. And that was pretty cool to see. Like I said, they're doing way better on the Raw Underground this week, and I really like it. They made a lot of improvement. Alright guys, to end Raw, we had a pleasant surprise. We had a surprise guest. Shawn Michaels showed up to Raw, and Shawn Michaels came out to talk about by the way, Shawn Michaels' theme song, you know, like in terms of songs outside of wrestling, it's not a great song, you know, but inside of wrestling, it's like one of the greatest songs of all time. Like if you're a wrestling fan, you've been growing up with Shawn Michaels and stuff like that, and to hear his song just hit after like so many years, it just brought a smile to my face. I don't know why, but his song always is a hit within the wrestling world. I was just like bobbing my head just listening to his song. But Shawn Michaels came out. He talked about what happened to Ric Flair and how Randy Orton is selfish, and Randy Orton didn't show any gratitude to one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, which was Ric Flair, that he kicked in the head last week. And then Shawn Michaels, I guess Shawn Michaels is going to be at SummerSlam. I guess he's going to be in Drew McIntyre's corner because him and Drew McIntyre have a relationship because of NXT. Because on top of Triple H running NXT, there's also Road Dogg and Shawn Michaels that work down there in NXT with Triple H with the new talent. So he talked about how at SummerSlam it's either going to be a Sweet Chin Music or a Claymore that's going to, you know, kind of hit Randy Orton in the face. So, and then as Shawn Michaels was walking out the ring, and Randy Orton slid in from behind him and hit him with an RKO. And then Randy Orton did it really quick too. Randy Orton is like one of the smoothest wrestlers I've ever seen. Like when he does any of his moves, it's just like, I guess that's why they call him a viper, a snake, because he's like smooth with everything. He makes it look effortless. He came in, hit that RKO, bounced off the rope, and punted Shawn Michaels in the head like it was nothing. And then Drew McIntyre came out. Randy Orton jumped out the ring, jumped over the barricade, ran, and then Drew McIntyre was checking on Shawn Michaels. Randy Orton came back in the ring while Drew McIntyre was checking on Shawn Michaels. Turned around Drew McIntyre, went for the RKO. Drew McIntyre pushed him off, and then Drew McIntyre started clotheslining and beating up Randy Orton. Started throwing him into the plexiglass on the outside of the ring, threw him over the announcer's table and stuff like that. And then Drew McIntyre, I don't know why he did this, but he went back and checked on Shawn Michaels. There was a ref in the ring. He was like, is there medical attention coming to help him? So he had his back turned to Randy Orton again, who was on the floor hurt on the outside. Randy Orton got back in the ring, hit Drew McIntyre with an RKO, and then Randy Orton slid out the ring. So let's see what happens at SummerSlam. So far, Randy Orton has gotten the best of Drew McIntyre on multiple occasions. It was cool to see Shawn Michaels back in the ring, guys. But that's pretty much it for the recap for Raw this week. Check out any of the other videos, NXT, SmackDown, AEW, Dynamite, to see any other recap videos. And I'll see you guys in the next recap video or any other videos I put out. Peace out.